Oh, it's dark here. Because I forgot my lunch today. And I really need something to eat because my stomach will be growling. Growling is not good because Judge will get mad. So I'll eat some figgy pudding. Much better, alright.
What's so good about it?
Well, it's snowing outside. It's Christmassy.
It was a rhetorical question.
Oh. Big trial starts today, sir.
I'm well aware of that fact.
Well, the newspapers, it's calling it the trial of the century.
The newspapers should concern themselves with news and not sensationalism.
Well, everyone's talking about it, sir.
Everyone should find something better to do. This trial, Mr. Connolly, is a waste of time. My time. And I do not like to waste my time. To make matters worse, I have to deal with the sickeningly sweet courtroom proceedings of Mr. Rothschild.
But the people like him, sir.
The people don't have to deal with him on a daily basis. Do you know what he does every time he has a witness on the stand?
I never really noticed, but...
Would you please state your full name for the court?
This is Catherine Harrington.
Mrs. Harrington, may I call you Catherine? Mark me, he does that to every witness.
All right, I'll mark it down. I mean, he's just doing his job, sir.
As should you. As for Mr. Rothschild, I wish he'd find his job somewhere else. I find him to be an annoyingly doltish irritant in my courtroom.
Well, you know, I haven't heard who's representing Mr. Scrooge yet either.
He's representing himself.
Why?
Because he's cheap.
Well, you should know, sir.
What was that, Mr. Connolly?
Nothing at all. I didn't say words. Didn't you used to be, did you know Mr. Marley at one point in time?
Yes, old Marley was a partner in our law firm.
A partner, sir? I thought he was partners with Mr. Scrooge, but that's a...
He was partners with Mr. Scrooge until I ruined him as my partner.
Why?
Old Marley couldn't write a contract to save his soul. I had to write all of them. So I wrote our partnership contract. Then on the eve of our firm receiving the largest payment to date, I invoked Article 15 and had him thrown out of the firm. He was crushed. Then I had him removed from the bar.
Why would you do that?
Because I could. As for Mr. Marley, the only job he could find was with Mr. Scrooge. And between Scrooge and I, he hardened his soul and made him the successful businessman he was. So, yeah.
Okay, harsh, but...
So is the world. Hurry up, Marley!
All right, I'm built for comfort, not for speed. Yes, I'm done.
Mr. Bailiff, good to see you. Good to see you. This one's squad room is cold.
It's nice to see you on this
Nice
side.
one was the last
How are you today, Mr.
So nice to see you
Good to
again.
see you.
you, sir.
Your courtroom is looking spiffy as always.
Well, thank you so much.
That words.
Spiffy? Yes, it is my grandma. Very good. I actually brought you to the, I cleaned up the bigger desk for you today.
Oh, how kind of you.
I think so.
I know that feeling.
It's only a little bit bigger, only 3 centimeters, but I think you'll like it. It's going to work out well.
This is perfect. Absolutely perfect. I've got a nice view of the bench.
I think so. It's very nice.
This stand.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
why is yours?
yes. I actually, your desk is over here, Mr. Scrooge. Nope, no, that's not your desk, sir. Your desk is over there, actually. It's a small enough.
Oh, wow.
That was just rude.
So that's very rich. Thank you, Mr. Cobb.
We'll go to the small. It's not that much.
I want to pick it up myself. I can't bend anymore.
Well, I can't either, but you know.
Just guess will do just fine.
Oh, Bob Cratchit. When I was in Fleet Street this week, I found something for you. They knew I was going to see you at the trial.
A surprise. I love surprises.
Ready? Are you ready, sir?
I am ready. Should I sit down?
You might want to. Ready? Look at that.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yes, it's a whole stocking. It's 2 in 1.
It's a mashup.
It is a mashup. Very nice. My nanny used to make a mashup too. It's very tasty. And because you have never lost in this court, I also found
Dreidel champion.
Isn't that very nice? Dreidel champion. There you go.
You put that right here.
That's a good idea.
Hit it to his head.
Yes. Oh, and in case you get a little, sad because it's the holidays,
Oh.
I did find this.
A menorah.
And that's what they said it was called. Yes. It's a little menorah. And in case Mr. Scrooge is talking and you don't want to listen anymore, I found one of these atop.
Dreidel.
Oh, it's a dreidel. Yeah, sure.
Dreidel champion. Dreidel.
Oh, that's what it is. I didn't know. And in case that one breaks down, I got this one as well.
It's a backup.
It's a backup dreidel.
In case the power goes out.
Very nice.
Will,
What's the magic word?
Do you need anything, Mr. Rothschild?
I would love a quill as well.
I will get you a quill.
Please.
Yes, indeed. I will get you a nice quill. Here you go, sir. This is a turkey feather for you.
Perfect.
And I think this is a dick. Everything. You all set, Mr. Rothschild?
Good to go.
Fantastic. Wonderful. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Her Majesty's Courtroom number 12. I do have a few announcements this Judge His Honor would like to go through before we begin. Welcome to Her Majesty's Courtroom number 12. I already said that. This is Judge Stanchfield R. Pearson's courtroom. He does have some rules. First, no photography. He hates photography. Also, if you have any of those little watches that collect Pokemon, if you could turn those off too, that would be wonderful. Second, no children in the courtroom. We did pretty good. Third, if there is an emergency and we need to exit the theater, the courtroom, we will exit out this door and down the stairs. Do not use the elevator, whatever that is. Fourth, no food or drink in the courtroom. If you bring food or drink in the courtroom, I will eat it in front of you in a mocking tone. It will not be nice. I'll be very rude about it, probably drop some crumbs on you. It'll be awful. But if the judge does allow us a recess, there will be some food and drink on the second floor. Fifth, you might want to donate to the judge's favorite charity. And you can do that, which is R.I.S.E. And you can do that in person here tonight, or you can go to the website, which is, I assume, a place where spiders live, at www.ristage.org. Okay, sir. He's in a very bad mood today, so let's all use our listening ears, okay? All rise. Okay, yeah, no, I'm going to need all of you to rise when I say all rise. No, we're going to do it again. Everyone sit down. Sit down. You did awful that time. We're going to try again. It's okay. Ready? All rise. Much better. Very good. Listening ears on. His Honorable Stanchfield R. Pearson presiding.
God save the Queen!
God save the Queen!
What is it with these people, Connolly?
I think they're former colonists, sir.
Probably from Woonsocket.
Oh, God.
Could be worse, could be from Burville. Be seated! Court is now in session. Entered on this 24th day of December 1844, a complaint by Ebenezer Scrooge of attempted murder, kidnapping, breaking and entering, stalking, slander, theft, pain and suffering, and the intentional infliction of emotional distress against Jacob Marley and the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. How would your client plead, Mr. Rothschild?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Very well. Opening remarks, Mr. Scrooge.
Bah, humbug.
That's it. That's your opening.
Yes, that's what I think of Mr. Marley and his hooligan friends. Bah, humbug.
Mr. Scrooge, perhaps you should reconsider legal
I'm
representation.
capable of representing myself.
Mr. Scrooge, why are you not properly attired? Barristers in my courtroom are expected to wear robes. Where are your robes?
I don't own any.
Oh, you don't own. That's perfect. Well, why not?
I cannot see wasting any money on something so frivolous as robes.
In my courtroom, Mr. Scrooge, you will wear robes. Mr. Connolly,
Yes, sir.
assist Mr. Scrooge.
Yes, sir, I will.
None of that.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. Anyway, we're just taking Yes.
Hey, Connolly.
Yes, sir.
Something left over from the Moriarty trial?
Oh, he could not get the hang of it, could he, sir?
I've got it.
Got it, sure.
Quickly, Mr. Connolly.
You're all set, sir.
Very well. Now that we're all properly attired, opening remarks, Mr. Rothschild.
Thank you, Your Honor. Merry Christmas. Objection.
You may not object to Mr. Rothschild's opening statement, Mr. Scrooge.
I find the phrase Merry Christmas objectionable.
Well, as much as you find the phrase Merry Christmas objectionable, and as much as I find it ironic, given Mr. Rothschild's upbringing, that he would use such a phrase, you still may not object to it during his opening remarks. Again, Mr. Scrooge, I urge you to consider legal
I am
representation.
capable of representing myself.
And it should come to no surprise, as a man as knowledgeable as yourself regarding courtroom procedure, that it is common courtesy to refer to me as Your Honor.
I am well aware of that courtesy.
Sit down, Mr. Scrooge, and not another word from you during Mr. Rothschild's opening remarks. Mr. Rothschild.
Thank you, Your Honor. Happy holidays. This trial is not about attempted murder. It is not about kidnapping. It is not about slander or theft or trespass. But I do agree with Mr. Scrooge on one point. This trial is about pain and suffering. The pain and suffering of a shut-up heart. The pain and suffering of a lost soul. The pain and suffering endured by Mr. Scrooge because he had lost his Christmas spirit. 1 year ago this very night, Mr. Scrooge's closest and only friends went through extraordinary measures to heal that pain and suffering. Jacob Marley, along with the spirits of Christmas past, present, and future, came to Mr. Scrooge and challenged him. They challenged him to look beyond the darkness of his cold, shriveled soul, to look beyond his vicious and malicious ways, to look beyond his pain and suffering, and to look into the bosom and the belly of the miraculous and awe-inspiring spirit of Christmas. Do you know what happened Do you know what happened when Mr. Scrooge took a good hard look into the spirit of Christmas? Mr. Scrooge found his heart. Mr. Scrooge found his soul. Mr. Scrooge found his joy, his happiness, and his compassion, because Mr. Scrooge found the Christmas spirit. We all saw the change in him. How could we not? His soul had new life. His heart laughed, and we laughed with him. He was merciful, he was charitable, he was a joy and a pleasure to be near. But now, the unthinkable has happened. Mr. Scrooge's heart has grown cold again. Mr. Scrooge's soul is shut up again. Mr. Scrooge's life is merciless, malignant, and malevolent again because Mr. Scrooge has lost the Christmas spirit again. And if that wasn't enough, as if the fall of a man was not enough, as if the souring of the wondrous milk of human kindness was not enough, Mr. Scrooge now wishes to punish those benevolent and selfless souls who brought about the change in him 1 year ago. My clients did not murder Mr. Scrooge. They did not kidnap him. They did not harass or harm him. What they did was go to extraordinary measures to heal the pain that Mr. Scrooge was suffering by helping him find his Christmas spirit. And for that, they should not be punished. They should be embraced and loved. Thank you.
Mr. Scrooge, you may call your first witness.
No witnesses at this time.
You're joking, right?
No.
Why me? Mr. Rothschild!
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to call to the stand Mr. Robert Cratchit.
Mr. Robert Cratchit!
Would you please state your name for the court?
Here he goes.
Robert Cratchit, sir.
Mr. Cratchit, may I call you Robert?
Bob is fine, sir.
Oh, Bob. Very nice. Very nice. Bob, what is your relationship to Mr. Scrooge?
I'm a clerk of Scrooge and Marley, sir.
So you work for both Mr. Scrooge and Mr. Marley?
Only Mr. Scrooge, sir.
Well, why don't you work for Mr. Marley?
Well, Mr. Marley's dead to begin with, sir.
Dead?
Yes, sir.
Was he dead on the night in question?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
There's no doubt about that whatsoever, sir. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the undertaker, the clerk, and,
Go on, Bob.
well, Mr. Scrooge, sir.
Mr. Scrooge signed the register of burial.
Yes, sir. And his name's good for anything he chooses to put his hand to.
On the night in question, did Mr. Scrooge know that Marley was dead?
How could he not know, sir? Mr. Scrooge and he were partners for, I don't know how many years. Mr. Scrooge was his sole friend. And his sole mourner, sir.
So on the night in question, old Marley was dead as a doornail.
Objection. Sustained. Mr. Rothschild, you made your point.
But Your Honor, this must be distinctly understood, or nothing wondrous can come of this trial. If we were not perfectly convinced that Hamlet's father was dead before the play began, there would be nothing more remarkable in his taking a stroll at night in an easterly wind upon his own ramparts than in any other middle-aged man rashly journeying out after dark to frighten his son's sweet mind.
Thank you for your literary lesson, Mr. Rothschild. You made your point, and I love Shakespeare. Move on, please.
Bob, in your opinion, what kind of a man is Mr. Scrooge?
Sir, he's thrifty.
Okay.
Thrifty?
Uh-oh.
He's a hand to the grindstone.
Order!
He's squeezing.
Mr. Connolly, remove her from the courtroom immediately. Order!
No, sir.
Sorry, sir.
Easy.
Resisting. What?
Quickly, Mr. Connolly.
Really?
It was an arranged marriage, sir.
Mr. Connolly, lock that door. I'll have no further interruptions, or I'll have the lot of you arrested for contempt. And that goes for all of you, too. Continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Bob, do you agree with your wife's outburst?
Objection. Sustained. Mr. Rothschild, you shall not encourage contemptible behavior.
I apologize, Your Honor. Bob, how many years have you worked for Scrooge and Marley?
10 years, sir.
In those 10 years, has Mr. Scrooge and you ever gone out after work for a drink?
No, sir.
Have you ever had Mr. Scrooge over your house for dinner?
No, sir.
Have you ever been over to his house for dinner?
Mr. Scrooge is secretive and self-contained, sir. As solitary as an oyster.
Objection.
Establishing character, Your Honor.
Be quick about it. Overruled.
Bob, let's talk about the night in question. Christmas Eve. Do you recall where you were?
Yes, sir. I was at work.
Of all the good days of the year, you had to work on Christmas Eve?
Yes, sir. I had to work the whole day.
Do you recall what the weather was like that day?
Yes, sir. I distinctly remember the city clock striking 3, but it was quite dark already, and candles were flickering in the neighboring offices, like ruddy smears upon the palpable brown air. It was extremely foggy, and I remember thinking that to see the fog come pouring in, obscuring everything, one might have thought that nature lived hard by and was brewing on a larger scale.
It was rather cold that night, if I recall.
Oh, yes, sir. It was cold, bleak, biting weather, sir.
But at least you had the warmth of your offices to protect you from the elements.
Not quite, sir.
No? You didn't have a fire blazing in the successful offices of Scrooge and Marley?
No, sir. External heat and cold seem to have little influence on Mr. Scrooge, sir. It seems that no warmth warms him, nor wintry wind chills him, sir.
Surely you had some sort of fire burning in your office.
A very small one.
How small, Bob?
1 coal, sir.
1 coal?
Yes,
Well,
sir.
that hardly constitutes a fire.
Mr. Scrooge's orders.
Did you ask Mr. Scrooge if you could put more coal on the fire?
I did.
And what was his response?
He said that if I took 1 more coal from the coal box, my services would no longer be needed.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Scrooge, your witness.
Mr. Cratchit, I'm sorry. Did you say that you had to work on Christmas Day?
No, sir. I said I worked Christmas Eve.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said Christmas Day.
No, sir. You gave me Christmas Day off, remember?
Yes, I do. Yes, I did. No more questions?
You may step down, Mr. Cratchit. Your witness, Mr. Rothschild.
Your Honor, I would like to call to the stand Mr. Frederick Fitzpatrick.
Mr. Frederick Fitzpatrick.
Would you please state your name for the court?
He goes again.
Frederick Fitzpatrick.
Mr. Fitzpatrick, may I call you Frederick?
Oh, come on.
Fred is fine, thank you.
Fred. Very nice. Fred, what is your relationship to Mr. Scrooge?
Mr. Scrooge is my uncle,
By birth or by marriage?
by birth. He and my mother were brother and sister.
Were. Is she deceased, Fred?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fred, did you see your uncle on the night in question?
I did,
And where was that?
at his office.
Do you recall what kind of a mood your uncle was in when you saw him that afternoon?
His usual mood. Grumpy, crotchety, disagreeable, almost as if he saw Governor Raimundo speak in public again.
Children,
Oh, please.
did your visit cheer him up?
No, if anything, it made him more disagreeable.
Did you come bearing bad news?
I came to wish him a Merry Christmas and invite him to Christmas dinner.
And that made him more disagreeable.
My uncle has taken a keen dislike for Christmas.
Has he ever said why?
He's never said.
Did he accept your invitation to dinner?
As usual, he declined.
As usual, Fred.
Yes, every Christmas Eve I invite him to Christmas dinner, and every day he says no.
Because of his dislike for Christmas.
Or because of his dislike for me.
Well, Fred, have you ever done anything to warrant that kind of behavior?
We've never had a quarrel as far as I'm concerned.
And yet you return every Christmas to invite him to dinner, even though you get the same response each time.
Yes, I do. I've always thought of Christmas time, whenever it comes around once a year, as a good time. The only time out of the long calendar of the year when men and women can open up their shut-up hearts and look upon those beneath them as fellow passengers to the grave, and not some other race of creatures bound on other journeys that I do not care about. So yes, I visit him every Christmas Eve because I feel that Christmas has done me good, and even though it has not put a single scrap of food on my plate, or a single piece of gold or silver in my pocket, I say God bless it!
Another sound out of you, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation. Move on, Mr. Rothschild.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Your witness, Mr. Scrooge.
You're quite the powerful speaker, sir. I wonder you don't go into parlor.
Objection! Answering the witness.
Sustained, Mr. Scrooge.
It's a compliment.
I didn't like your tone. What?
No. Listen, Miss Patrick. In the past 10 years, approximately, how many times have you come to see me?
That's easy. 10.
10 times? You're sure?
Yes.
You're positive?
Yes. Every Christmas Eve.
Never come by to see me on New Year's Eve?
No.
Boxing Day?
No.
St. George's Day?
No.
May Day? First day of summer? Crisp day and all?
No.
Surely on my birthday.
I don't know what that is.
I suppose you're right then. You don't diatribe about Christmas.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained, Mr. Scrooge.
In your speech about Christmas, you said that Christmas time is the only time you know of when men and women open their hearts freely to one another. Did you say that?
Yes, I did.
You believe that?
Yes, I do.
This opening of hearts, is this what you would call the Christmas spirit?
Yes.
A spirit of caring and generosity.
Yes.
A spirit which you believe I don't possess.
That's the one.
And at Christmas time, do you feel like you possess this spirit?
Yes.
More than most men.
More than you, I'm afraid.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Fitzpatrick. Where does your Christmas spirit, your spirit of caring and generosity go the other 364 days of the year?
It doesn't go anywhere. It's always inside me.
In the past 10 years, you've visited me 10 times, each time on Christmas Eve.
Yes. I make them homage in the name of the Christmas spirit.
And yet you just said that your Christmas spirit is always inside you.
Yes.
So then why don't you come see me some other time of the year? No more questions.
You may step down, Mr. Fitzpatrick. Your witness, Mr. Rothschild.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to call to the stand Miss Sarah Wainwright.
Miss Sarah Wainwright. Miss Sarah Wainwright.
Oh, okay. Oh, who does your hair?
Mr. Connolly. Go on.
Would you please state your name for the court? Please state your name for the court.
Sarah Ann Wainwright.
Miss Wainwright, may I call you Sarah?
God!
Yes, sir, good name.
Thank you. Sarah, on the night in question, did you see Mr. Scrooge?
I most certainly did.
And where was that?
At his office.
What business brought you to his office?
Oh, well, every year at Christmas time, I go door to door to the various businesses in and around the London area, soliciting money for the poor and destitute.
Well, that's rather noble of you.
Objection.
Sustained. Mr. Rothschild, keep your opinions to yourself.
Thank you.
Sarah, what organization do you work for?
Oh, I don't work for any organization. I do this on my own.
You take it upon yourself to help the poor.
Yes, I do.
Whatever prompted you to undertake such a cause?
Well, several Christmases ago, we were having a party at our home. And someone said it was snowing outside, so we all rushed to the front window to look out. And when we did, there in the street stood a poor homeless family. And they were just standing there in the snow. And they looked so homeless. You know, poor, hungry, sad. And I just couldn't help staring at them. And they were staring back at me. Well, we had some leftover food. So I put on my hat and my coat and my mittens and my new mink muffler, and I brought the food out to them, and I wished them a Merry Christmas, and they were so grateful. And at that moment, I felt a warmth in my heart, and I knew then that Christmas was about more than just parties and presents and pretty dresses. Oh sure, that's a big part of it, but it's more than that. So, every year at Christmas time, I go door to door, soliciting funds for the poor. You know, when want is keenly felt and abundance truly rejoices, I collect money so that they can have a means of meat and drink and warmth. I believe everyone is entitled to that at Christmas time.
How many people benefit from your efforts?
Oh, not nearly enough. Thousands are in need of common necessities, and hundreds of thousands are in need of common comforts.
Of all the people you solicit, approximately how many give you money?
Nearly everyone. And at Christmas time, abundance truly rejoices. Even your people give a little something.
What can I say? We're givers. Unrelated question. How much did Mr. Scrooge give you?
Nothing.
He wished to remain anonymous.
No, he wished to be left alone.
Alone?
That was his wish.
Did he give you any reason?
Well, it was Mr. Scrooge's opinion that since he pays taxes for the prisons and workhouses, that people should go there if they're badly off.
Should they?
It is common knowledge that those institutions to which Mr. Scrooge is referring scarcely furnish Christmas cheer for the multitude. In fact, many people would rather die than go there. And when I told him that, he said,
Yes?
he said if they'd rather die, then they should do so and decrease the surplus population.
Boy, there! That's for sugar. No more questions, Your Honor.
Your witness, Mr. Scrooge.
Miss Wainwright, how long have you lived in London?
All my life, born and raised.
So you're fairly familiar then with the city?
Yes, sir, I am.
How would you describe the weather here?
It's perfect.
Look, perfect is here in Dutch, right? Like London's cold and wet.
Mr. Connolly, refrain from sharing your opinions during questioning, or the ducks won't be the only ones that are cold and wet. Continue, Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Connolly thinks it's cold and wet.
Objection!
Sustained, Mr. Scrooge. Mr. Connolly's want-witted remarks shall not be taken into account.
Very well then. I think it's cold and wet, rainy and foggy. What do you think, Miss Wainwright?
Well, we do get our share of that type of weather.
Our share, more than a monopoly, I'd say. What's the average temperature in February, Miss Wainwright?
Objection, Your Honor. We are not here to discuss the annual weather report.
Mr. Scrooge, is there a point in this line of questioning?
I'm getting to it.
Well, get to it quickly. Overruled.
What's the average temperature in February, Miss Wainwright?
I wouldn't know, sir.
You should know. You've lived here your entire life.
I know generally, but I don't know exact figures.
Generally will do. In the month of February, does it ever get below freezing?
Depends on the year.
Generally.
I suppose.
More than half the days?
Maybe.
Rain in February? true?
Yes, it snows in February.
Have you ever seen it snow in October?
I think so.
How about in March?
Yes.
April?
A few years ago, it snowed on Easter Sunday.
It has to be fairly cold to snow, doesn't it?
Why, yes, it does.
October to April. That's 7 months. More than half the year. 7 months of cold, freezing weather, and 5 months of, let's be honest, not so great weather. The taxes I pay every week help provide food and means of warmth for people all year long, not just for one day out of the year. So, in the long term, Miss Wainwright, who is doing more to help the poor? You or me? No more questions.
You may step down. Your witness, Mr. Rothschild.
I'd like to call a witness.
Mr. Scrooge, you may not call a witness.
Your Honor, Mr. Scrooge would like to call a witness at this time. I will happily yield the floor.
Well, let's just break courtroom procedure then. Go ahead, Mr. Scrooge.
All right, call to the stand, Mr. Jacob Marley.
Mr. Jacob Marley.
Glow like a bad lobster in a dark cellar! What? I read it in a book. Christmas Carol. Chucky Dickens wrote. No one's read it in a book.
Well, Mr. Marley, you're looking a ghost of your former self.
You're hilarious. Would you please state your name for the court?
Ask me who I was. Not in my courtroom.
Ask me who I was. You're rather particular for a ghost.
Objection, badgering witness.
Sustained, Mr. Scrooge.
Who were you then?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
In life? When did you die?
8 years ago. 8 years ago this very night, Christmas Eve.
Wasn't a very Merry Christmas for you, was it?
Objection!
Sustained, Mr. Scrooge.
Yes, I know. In those 8 years, have we seen each other?
Is this going to take long? I have business to attend to.
Just answer the question, Mr. Marley. In those 8 years, have we seen each other?
We have seen each other twice, but I have seen you many times.
Where have you seen me?
As part of my penance, I am forced to sit invisible by your side many and many a day.
Mr. Marley, that is known as stalking.
Objection!
Overruled.
I don't make the rules, Ebenezer.
The 2 times we saw each other, when was that?
A year ago tonight.
Both times on the same day?
Indeed. Weren't you there?
Where did we see each other the first time?
At your front door.
Do you recall where I was standing?
Your front doorstep.
And where were you?
I was your door knocker.
Rather an odd place to greet someone, don't you think? I understand meeting someone at their front door, but waiting for them in the door knocker. Why were you there?
I had come to warn you of my impending visit.
You came to me in my door knocker to warn me you were going to pay a visit? Why not talk to me then? Mr. Marley, I'm not hearing your answer. Why not talk to me then?
Made sense at the time.
You recall what I did next?
You went inside.
And you were left there at the door knocker.
No, I had already left the door knocker.
Where did you go?
I went inside the house.
Without being invited in.
The chambers used to belong to me, Ebenezer.
Not anymore. That's trespassing, Mr. Marley. Objection!
Overruled.
The next place we saw each other, where was that?
Your bedchamber.
Again, Mr. Marley, I don't recall inviting you into my bedchamber.
I came to offer you a chance and hope of escaping. my fate.
You entered my bedchamber through a double-locked door, did you not?
A chance and hope of my own procuring, Ebenezer. Your salvation is
Did you or did you not enter my bedchamber through a double-locked door?
a last chance and hope.
Mr. Marley, answer the question. Did you or did you not enter Mr. Scrooge's bedchamber uninvited through a double-locked door?
I did.
Fantastic! Move on.
What exactly was this chance and hope you were offering me that night?
A visitation by 3 spirits.
Visitation? I do believe your exact words were, you will be haunted by 3 spirits. Woo! That sounds correct, Mr. Marley.
I don't actually sound like that, do I?
There might be some truth to it.
Yes or no?
Yes.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits, not you will be visited by 3 spirits. There's a distinct difference between those 2 words, Mr. Marley. The word visit implies someone stopping in for a bit of tea, whereas the word haunted conjures images of threatening, horror, and fear. On the night in question, you broke into my house to threaten, terrorize, and haunt me.
It was for your own good.
So admit to it then.
It was for your own good, Ebenezer.
If it was for my own good, then why did you wait 7 years?
As part of my penance, I am condemned to travel the world.
But you just admitted that you have sat beside me many and many a day. Which is it, Mr. Marley? I have no more questions.
Mr. Rothschild, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Marley. May I call you Jacob?
Oh, God!
You may.
Jacob, you're fettered. Tell us why.
Excuse me, these are not feathers, they are chains.
Fettered. Fettered, not feathered.
Excuse me, death has not done wonders for my hearing.
Jacob, tell us why you're fettered.
I bear the chains I forged in life. I make them leg by leg, yard by yard. I girded them on of my own free will, and of my own free will I wear them. Is its pattern strange to you, Ebenezer? Do you know the weight and length of the strong foot?
Mr. Marley, order!
It was as full as
Mr. Marley!
ago, and you have labored on it. It is a ponderous chain.
Mr. Marley, if you cannot contain yourself, I will have you arrested for contempt.
I apologize to my client, Your Honor. He's under a great deal of strain.
Well, he's not the only one.
It's his penance, Your Honor. Jacob, you said you were serving some kind of penance.
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should travel abroad amongst his fellow man, and travel far and wide. And if it does not do so in life, it is condemned to do so after death.
And your spirit never traveled forth.
My spirit will rove beyond the narrow confines of our money-changing form. I am doomed to travel the world and witness that which I cannot share, but might have shared, and turn to happiness.
How could this happen? Surely you were a good man of business.
Business! Business! Mankind was my business! The common welfare was my business! Mercy, charity, benevolence, and forbearance were all my business! The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean that was my business!
This must be very painful for you.
No rest, no sleep. Many long journeys lie before me.
Despite your overwhelming fatigue, your unfathomable exhaustion, you managed to summon the strength to visit your old friend, Ebenezer Scrooge.
I came to offer him a chance and hope of escaping my fate.
Why didn't you come to Mr. Scrooge earlier?
Interesting question. It's quite a long story, actually, and just probably been working.
What?
I didn't fill out the paperwork. Well, it just died. I was a little preoccupied at the time, which put me on a 7-year waiting list.
Dang,
The 3 spirits.
there's a 7-year wait for the 3 spirits.
The only longer wait is to see Hamilton.
Why didn't you get the other spirits?
They are the only 3 that do this sort of thing, Mr. Rothschild.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You may step down, Mr. Marley.
Look to see me no more. Look for your own sake.
to remember what has passed between us.
Your witness, Mr. Rothschild. Mr. Scrooge, you may not call to the stand.
Your Honor, if Mr. Scrooge would like to call another witness, I will happily yield the floor again.
What kind of a courtroom am I running here?
Nice walk.
Mr. Scrooge,
I call to the stand the ghost of Christmas past.
the ghost of Christmas past.
Hello, boys. Oh, isn't this nice? Naughty, nice. Naughty, 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 nice. Aren't you pretty? Oh my goodness, I love it.
Mr. Marley, assist her to the stand immediately.
I'll sit here. Oh! This is so much fun, isn't she pretty?
We need to go to the stand now.
Hello, Connolly.
Hello.
Marley!
Yes, sir, I'm trying, sir. I follow you.
We have to go to the...
Well, I really don't want you.
I know, but...
All right. What was your dress?
Oh, it's very pretty.
Connolly!
Oh, my God! What we got stuck.
We did.
Oh, look, it's like being at a party and then going to prison. Oh, dear. Hello. Oh, my.
Please tell the court who you are.
The ghost of Christmas past.
Long past.
No, your past.
Are you one of the spirits whose coming was foretold to me by Miss Marley?
I am.
You don't look much like a ghost.
Thank you, and I say you look debonair in your ensemble, and I just love your big, long stick.
Can I ask you a question? What business brought you to my house?
This is going to take long, dear. I have so much to do. I really
I didn't question what business brought you to my house.
Your welfare.
Did it ever occur to you that a night of unbroken rest might have been more conducive to that end?
Your reclamation, then.
My declamation. That included kidnapping me.
Objection!
Sustained.
This spirit kidnapped me.
Objection! Mr. Scrooge was not kidnapped.
I was forcibly taken out of my house against my will.
Your Honor, look at my client. She's as gentle as a child.
Though gentle as a child in appearance, her grasp was not to be resisted.
No, and I think all the ladies in the courtroom know the effect of their grasp with a man.
Order! I will determine whether or not Mr. Scrooge did or did not go of his own volition.
Spirit, did you take me, clad only in my dressing gown, nightcap and slippers, through the bedroom window and outside my house?
Yes, and it is the highlight of my year getting to see you in your undergarments. It really was.
And in doing so, exposing me, a mere mortal, to the very real possibility of falling to my death.
With my hand upon your heart, you were more than
I don't know how things work in your little netherworld, Spirit, but in this world it's known as kidnapping and endangerment. No more questions.
Your witness, Mr. Rothschild.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ghost of Christmas past. May I call you past?
Shoot me!
You may.
Past. You said the purpose of your visit to Mr. Scrooge was his reclamation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Was Mr. Scrooge in need of reclamation?
No. Yes.
Did you kidnap Mr. Scrooge?
Heavens, no.
Objection overruled.
Mr. Mr. Scrooge says you kidnapped him.
Mr. Scrooge is mistaken.
Objection!
Overruled.
I was kidnapped by the spirit.
Mr. Scrooge, sit down.
Thank you, Your Honor. Pastor, let's say you did kidnap Mr. Scrooge.
But I didn't.
Well, I know that.
Well, then why do you keep asking me if I did?
For the sake of argument.
I never argue!
I'm just trying to make a point.
Oh. All right, go on.
So let's say you went into Mr. Scrooge's bedroom and you kidnapped him. What did you tie him up with? Rope?
Now, there's an idea, but I didn't.
Sheets?
No,
Chains like Mr. Marley's?
I did not tie up the exciting Mr. Scrooge.
Did you hold his arms and his legs so that he couldn't move?
No,
Throw him in a sack?
no,
Knock him unconscious?
no, if only.
Did you use some secret invisible ghostly power to immobilize him? Ooh.
No, but I wish I had the power to immobilize you.
Well, I'm confused.
That's not surprising.
Hey,
Mr. Scrooge alleges you kidnapped him. How did you force him to go with you?
I did not force Mr. Scrooge. I merely touched his heart.
Something I'm sure he hasn't felt in years.
Sustained.
So you've gotten Mr. Scrooge out of his bedroom. What did you ask for ransom? Money?
Yeah.
Better working conditions?
Oh, no, I'm in the union.
The release of trapped spirits?
No, Solomon, and you've been watching HBO specials again. I saw nothing from him.
Again, I'm confused.
That's because you're an idiot.
Scrooge, you are already trying my limited patience. Another outburst like that, and I'll have you thrown in jail. And the only way to remove you from your cell is to sweep out your ashes. Move on.
So, Pastor, you didn't force him from his bedroom. You didn't ask for ransom.
No, and no.
And if you didn't immobilize Mr. Scrooge, what prevented him from escaping?
Nothing.
Objection!
Overruled.
This ghost is perjurizing herself.
Perhaps you mean perjuring, Mr. Scrooge.
This is a perjurious poltergeist.
Mr. Scrooge?
She's lying.
I know what the word means, Mr. Scrooge. You had a chance to question the witness. It is now Mr. Rothschild's turn. Sit down. Mr. Rothschild.
Thank you, Your Honor. Pastor, you said Mr. Scrooge was free to leave.
Yes,
At any time.
yes. He needed only to extinguish me with this hat, and he would have been back in his bedchamber.
Well, that's a very powerful hat.
I'm a very powerful ghost.
Not as gentle as she was, eh?
Mr. Scrooge!
Pastor, would you tell us how the hat works?
It extinguishes my light.
Your light?
The light of one's past, you silly goose.
And that's when you took Mr. Scrooge on the night in question. To visit his past, was it not?
Too often we forget our past and who we truly are.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce Exhibit A, Mr. Scrooge's past. Mr. Conley, if you would be so kind.
Oh, Mr. Connolly, you're so strong and burly, isn't it? Well, don't strain yourself.
I'm trying not to. We're here.
That's fine.
I have you guys.
Okay.
Oh, Cratchit! Oh,
First slide, please.
Yes, sir.
go!
Pastor, can you tell us what we're looking at?
Yeah, we're looking at where Mr. Scrooge was bred. He was a boy, yeah.
And this is where you took him on the night in question.
Yes,
Did you walk along that road?
yes.
Did he recollect the way?
Oh, he could have walked it blindfolded. You know, as a matter of fact, I wish I had blindfolded him. Wouldn't that have been fun, Conley?
Strange that he had forgotten it for so long. Next slide, please.
Yes, sir.
Pastor, how far did you walk?
To little market village with a bridge, church, and winding river.
And who are these boys?
They're Mr. Scrooge's schoolboy friends.
Did Mr. Scrooge see them on the night in question?
Oh,
Did he rejoice beyond all bounds? Did his cold eye glisten? His heart leap as they passed? Was his heart full of gladness as they gave each other a Merry Christmas?
His lip trembled, and a tiny little tear cascaded down his fat little cheek. It was.
For the record, what are the boys' names?
I do not know.
Oh, the one on the left is Tommy Foster. The one with the red scarf is Francis Riley. And the one about to throw the snowball is Michael Thatcher.
Oh, is that old butt scratcher Thatcher?
Order!
Thank you, Mr. Scrooge. And past, where is Mr. Scrooge?
The schoolhouse is not quite deserted.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
You may step down.
Oh, thank you. Is it a gate
No,
here?
it's not a gate. We'll go the other way.
Mr. Connolly.
I'm sorry.
Party! Oh, this is delightful. You dance on
A little bit. I used to.
Shall we?
Okay, we're gonna do it right now.
Oh, come on in.
Connolly!
Oh, I can't! No, I can't! Don't make me!
Your witness, Mr. Rothschild.
Your Honor, I would like to call to the stand Mrs. Fan Fitzpatrick.
Mrs. Fan Fitzpatrick.
Would you please state your name for the court?
Francine Scrooge Fitzpatrick.
Mrs. Fitzpatrick.
Oh, please. Call me Fan.
Fan, what is your relationship to Mr. Scrooge?
He's my big brother.
Mr. Connolly? Yes. Next slide. Fan, do you recognize this place?
It's where Ebenezer went to school.
How many years did Ebenezer attend this school?
12.
Next slide, please. Yes. Fan, who is this solitary child?
It's little Abby.
Why is little Abby neglected by his friends and family at Christmas?
He was never neglected.
Oh, but you agree that this picture shows little Abby to be all alone while his schoolboy friends have gone home for the holidays.
Yes.
Well, why is little Abby all alone during the holidays?
Father wouldn't permit him to come home.
How many Christmases was little, wait for it, Abby not permitted to come home?
11.
And he attended the school 12 years.
Yes.
11 out of 12 years, little Abby was not allowed to come home. Seems to me he was neglected most of his childhood.
Never in my heart.
Why wasn't he allowed to come home?
Well, after Mother died,
He was always angry and yelling. He sent Ebenezer off to school, and he would have sent me as well, but he needed someone to do all the cooking and the cleaning.
Did you ever ask your father, Papa, can little Abby come home for Christmas?
Every Christmas. And every Christmas he would say no.
What happened on that 12th year?
Father said yes.
Did he ever give you a reason why?
I'd never know. He was very angry that night, and I went to bed, and the next morning he came into my room, and he was speaking so nice. He even kissed me on the forehead. And then he said the strangest thing. He said they had done it all in one night.
and then he put me on a coach to bring Eddie home.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. Mr. Connolly, I have no further use of this technological marvel.
The weakling. Your witness, Mr. Scrooge.
Oh, man. Little sister, my dear little sister, You always have. Big heart. I have no questions.
You may step down. Your witness, Mr. Rothschild.
Your Honor, I would like to call to the stand Mrs. Belinda Worthington.
Mrs. Belinda Worthington.
Would you please state your name for the court?
Belinda Campbell Worthington, but my friends call me Belle.
Belle! What is your relationship to Mr. Scrooge?
I was engaged to him once.
How long were you and Mr. Scrooge engaged?
Our contract to marry was an old one.
Would it be safe to say several years?
Yes.
But you and Mr. Scrooge never married.
I never married Ebenezer, no.
Why not?
Another idol displaced me.
Another woman?
No, a golden idol, money.
Has Mr. Scrooge always had a love of money?
When we were engaged, we were both poor and content to be so. But I watched his nobler aspirations fall away one by one until his passion for me no longer existed, and a master passion gained and engrossed him.
How did that make you feel?
Unloved, fraught with misery.
How did it end between the two of you?
Knowing that I was no longer loved, I released him from his promise to marry.
And what was his reaction?
Indifference, relief,
And how did that make you feel?
broken-hearted. I loved Ebenezer once.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Your witness, Mr. Scrooge.
Mrs. Worthington. When did that happen?
A few years after.
After you released me.
Yes.
Did I ever ask for release?
In words, no.
If I didn't ask for release in words, then what then?
If we don't have a contract to marry, would you have sought me out and tried to win me?
Miss Campbell,
Mrs. Worthington.
Please answer the question. If I did not ask for release, in what way did I ask for release?
Can I believe you would have chosen a girl and then a dowry?
If I believe I did choose to go without a dowry.
Yes, you did. But you changed.
How so?
You began to weigh everything by gain.
I grew wiser, yes, but I was not changed towards you.
When you asked for my hand, you were another man.
I was a boy.
Yes, you were. But you did change. And if for one moment you were false to your own guiding principle, did I not know that repentance and regret would surely follow?
You made an assumption.
No, I did not.
Badgering the witness.
Mrs. Worthington.
Overruled.
I was a boy.
Your own feelings tell that you are not what you once were.
What am I?
A lonely old man intent on nothing but the pursuit of wealth.
This is the even-handed demon of the world. There is nothing upon which it is so hard as poverty, and nothing which it professes to condemn with more severity than the pursuit of wealth.
Your Honor,
You feel wealthy.
Did you tell me how to run my
For your future well-being.
My well-being meant little. To you, very little. I was merely an unprofitable dream.
Can't
We're not an impossible dream. You're going to be my wife. And then walked out on me.
And why didn't you stop? If I meant so much to you, why did you let me leave?
I don't know.
All these years, and you still don't know. You let me walk. And my heart is offering you monetary gain.
No more questions.
Mr. Scrooge, my chambers immediately. 15-minute recess.
It's getting exciting.
He's trying to take his gavel.
Somebody has to take control.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy, the chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.